Good morning, everyone. We are from Group 1. So today we're going to present about global trade and foreign direct investment. Before we get started, let me introduce me and my teammate. I'm Bintang Nadhiva with last three digits of MPM is O20, and my partner, I'm Yuki Fairuuz with last three digits of MPM is O71. So this is what we'll discuss in the presentation. Okay, so the first one, the history of trade theory. Mercantilism. Mercantilism, a dominant economic view in the 17th and early 18th century, saw international trade as a zero-sum game where one country gain came at another expenses. David Hume identified two flaws in mercantilism. The first one is focus on gold over goods. Hume argued that wealth wasn't just gold, but the goods and services it could buy. Having a lot of gold but limited goods wouldn't benefit citizens. Specified flow mechanism. When the supply or amount of money in the country increases, the prices in that country tend to go up as well. The next one is absolute advantage, according to Adam Smith. Adam Smith, in his book, The Wealth of Nations, challenged the mercantilist view of trade as a zero-sum game. He argued that international trade increases global wealth, not just transfer it between nations. Smith's concept of absolute advantage suggests countries specialize in producing goods they can make with the least labor. And the next one is competitive advantage, according to David Ricardo. David Ricardo theory of comparative advantage goes beyond absolute advantage, being the best at something, to explain why trade benefit all parties. The core idea is opportunity cost. When a country chooses to produce one good, it gives up the chance to produce something else. Comparative advantage focus on which good has the lower opportunity cost. The next one is the Hesker-Ohlin theory and the role of factor endowment. Each O theory explains a country's trade advantage based on its resources or factor endowment. These resources include things like land, labor, and machine. Countries with more labor compared to capital will have a comparative advantage in labor-intensive goods, and vice versa. Similar to other trade theory, Icho theory argues free trade benefits everyone. However, unlike them, Icho theory focuses on factor endowment, not just production efficiency. The theory predicts factor price equality and trade. This means prices for resources like labor and capital will become similar across trading countries. The Leontief paradox challenged the Icho theory. A study found in the US, a capital-rich country exported more labor-intensive goods than expected. This unexpected finding highlights a limitation of the original Icho theory. Despite the paradox, economists continue to refine the issue theory. Modern version can explain many aspects of international trade. So this is the other view of trade, the product life cycle, a technology innovation view. Vernon theory suggests a link between technology and trade pattern based on the product life cycle. The first one is new product stage. When a product is first invented, it usually developed in countries with highly skilled worker and resources like US, Japan, and Germany. The next one is the growth stage. As companies learn to make the product more efficiently, production might shift to other countries. And the next one is mature stage. Eventually, the product becomes widely available and affordable. The next one is new trade theory. New trade theory focuses on how economies of scale can impact trade. Economies of scale mean it gets cheaper to produce each good as you can make more of them. This happens because company can spread fixed costs like research and development over more units. The externalities happen within the company like spreading costs over more unit produced. While the external, this happen across an industry. As an industry grows, suppliers get bigger and cheaper, and the pool of skilled workers builds up in that location. So how does this relate to trade? Countries that can develop industry with economies of scale can produce goods much cheaper. This allows them to trade those goods with other countries. even if those countries have similar resources. In the end, everyone wins. Cheaper goods for consumer. Yes, this is the Michael Ford and the competitive advantage of nation. Porter argues that a nation's success in creating internationally competitive company come from four key factors. The first one is firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. And the second one is related and supporting industry. The third one is demand condition, and the last one is factor endowment.
So I will explain about the arguments against free trade. Economists often support free trade but argue against efficiency-based systems that prioritize political and socio-cultural factors, and they advocate for government tariffs or import restrictions on foreign imports. And several of these arguments follow. The first one is about a free trade as a threat to national sovereignty. Some argue free trade weakens national sovereignty, and this viewpoint, often held by anti-free trade politicians such as Pat Buchanan in the US, raises several concerns: loss of production capacity. The nation might lose its ability to produce key goods impacting its national identity, and the next one is the cultural erosion. Free trade could threaten unique cultures, like French concerns about English use in businesses. And the next one is about the national security. Some industries, like military equipment, are deemed too crucial to rely on imports. And the last one is about the food security. Countries may subsidize essential foods like Japan with rice and to ensure domestic production. And the next one is protecting infant industries. The infant industry argument suggests temporary protection for new domestic industries, and this means shielding them from foreign competition through tariffs or trade barriers. And this including the first one is rational. Proponents believe new industries are too weak to compete with established foreign rivals, and this temporary protection allows them to grow and become efficient. The next one is not anti-free trade, and this argument does not reject free trade entirely, but sees temporary protection as a way to foster future competitiveness. And the last one is similar use for aging industries. Sometimes the same logic is applied to aging industries that need time to modernize and compete effectively. So the next one is fair trade. Fair trade movement argues that free trade can exploit workers in developing countries, and this raises concerns that fair trade advocates believe free trade can lead to companies taking advantage of cheap labor with weak regulations on minimum wage, child labor, worker safety, and for a solution, they propose voluntary standards for products, and these standards will ensure consumers that goods were produced with minimum worker protections. This approach, also known as the trade justice, and the next argument is protecting the environment. The green argument against free trade suggests environmental damage is a hidden cost, and this unseen cost, like pollution causing climate change, is called a social cost. Similar to fair trade, like the fair trade concerns about worker protections, the green argument focuses on environmental regulations and production shift. Companies may move to countries with weaker environmental laws, leading to lower production costs, increased pollution, and global consequences. And this suggests everyone pays the eventual price for environmental damage, even if it's not immediately reflected in product costs. And the next argument is job loss. The job loss argument is a strong emotional argument against free trade. Free trade and job losses, even even free trade supporters acknowledge that some jobs will be lost when another country has an advantage in producing a good or service. And the evidence The US has lost many manufacturing jobs since the year of the thousands, and often attributed to competition from imports or companies moving production offices. And these arguments highlight the human cost of free trade as workers lose their jobs due to foreign competition. So next one is foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment means owning or controlling at least 10% of a business in another country, and it has grown significantly in recent decades, similar to international trade. There are three main theories explaining why FDI happens. The first one is monopolistic advantage theory. This this theory explains about companies invest abroad to maintain control over a unique advantages like technology or brand recognition. For example, like Intel's chip plants. The next theory is internationalization theory. Sometimes it is cheaper for a company to directly operate in another country or internalize than to use options like exporting or licensing, and this might be due to high transaction costs or monitoring contracts. And the third theory is Dunning's electric theory. This theory combines the above ideas. It says a company needs three advantages for successful FDI. First, ownership advantages, a competitive edge like superior technology or brand recognition, for example, like Toyota, reputation for quality, and second one is internationalization advantages. It's about cost savings compared to exporting or licensing, and the third one is about localization localization advantages. It's about benefits of producing in another country, like lower cost or serving a local market. For example, at BMW US plant for X5 XUVs. And the case that I will brought is about Chinese investment in Ethiopia, exemplified by Huawei. Huawei's strategic investment in Ethiopia's technology industry is a planned move to benefit on the country's rapidly evolving digital revolution. And the Ethiopia has a young and quickly growing population, making it an ideal market for mobile technology, especially with active government support for digitalization programs. And beyond simply delivering equipment for the 5G network rollout, Huawei intends to promote local skills through knowledge transfer, enhance urban infrastructure with smart city solutions, and cultivate a dynamic app ecosystem adapted to local requirements. And this relationship promises mutual benefits, with Ethiopia receiving access to modern technology and job possibilities, and Huawei establishing a strong position in a prospective African market, and reinforcing its brand image and competence in a quickly changing tech world. And this case is emphasizing the competitive advantage, because Huawei's decision to invest in Ethiopia may stem from the country's comparative advantage in terms of its young and rapidly growing population, which presents a potential market for mobile technology. And additionally, Ethiopia's government support for digitalization initiatives and could provide favorable conditions for Huawei investment. And the next case is about the South Korea's FDI in Vietnam. So South Korea's expansion as an important element of foreign direct investment or FDI in Southeast Asia, particularly in Vietnam, has been supported mostly by private investment. And despite political tensions, Vietnam's stability, supporting legal systems, and dedication to modernization resulted in significant investment from South Korea, particularly from technological giants such as Samsung and LG. And the cultural links and development cooperation projects help to build confidence and trust between the two countries, which encourages investment. And South Korean investments in Vietnam provide benefits such as job creation, technological transfer, and increase exports, and thereby benefiting the country's economy and society. And the implementation of the Vietnam-Korea Free Trade Agreement in 2015 strengthened the connection, resulting in significant increase in FDI inflows and bilateral trade volume between the two countries. So, South Korea's investment in Vietnam is a prime example of FDI. They are channeling resources, for example, like capital, technology, and expertise, into a foreign country, which is Vietnam, for a long-term benefits. And for the conclusion, international trade theories ranging from mercantilism to absolute and comparative advantage offer insights into global trade dynamics, and they help countries and businesses capitalize on their strengths and opportunities in the global market. And the trade theories highlight the benefits of free trade, such as increased productivity and consumer choices, but also address issues like job loss and environmental problems. And foreign direct investment is crucial to understanding trade theories and FDI tactics that help governments and businesses navigate international trade, promote economic growth, and address local social economic. And I think that's it from our group. Thank you for paying attention. See you next time. Bye bye.